Welcome, this is Amaterasu. In our first meeting about common interests, we came across the term biomimicry and got talking about how the deep sea is a subject that scares us when talking about a garment meant to be intimidating in dark environments. We took inspiration from marine life defense mechanisms of creatures like the octopus, cuttlefish, anglerfish, and the pufferfish. We explored defense techniques and concluded that a change in size, color, shape, or light would be most effective. With an AI text-to-image generator, we got inspiration on where to start with this project. For the deep sea feeling, we added tentacles around the waist. To add assertive defense elements to it, volume was added to the back and collar, together with spikes along the sleeves. These elements created an impactful garment. In the next iteration, we took different elements away and focused on a simpler design. A dark blue coat was made with quilted fabric, which felt heavy but comfortable when wearing it. From our first-person perspective experiments, we concluded that a big, flashy garment might make you feel safer at times, but less safe at other times, because it basically puts a spotlight on the wearer. This led us to the decision to make Amaterasu transformative, so that the wearer can choose whether to stand out or not. We did this by making the cape flip along the shoulders. The color of the final garment is a bright orange-red color with dark blue eyes. However, if the wearer finds this too intense, the bright side can flip to the inside of the garment, revealing a dark navy blue color. Blue is the color associated with the deep sea, especially dark blue. It is also perceived as a calming color, empowering but not overpowering. Orange, on the other hand, is seen as a strong and attention-grabbing color. We wanted to make a version of the cape that could sell if this project hypothetically became a business. This accessible version is both easier to manufacture and easier to wear. It is shorter than the original, the lights are replaced with small mirrors so that no electronics are needed, and it is reversible instead of flipping along the shoulders. To still make it look as big as possible, we exaggerated the shoulders in size and shape. To gather information about people's feelings, we conducted interviews. These interviews took place in a co-located setting so we could evaluate the situation and body language of the interviewee. The interview was about how the person felt and what they would do to make them feel more confident in a fear-invoking environment. The most useful information we got out of these interviews was that they wanted to appear agile and mysterious, to look firmer and stronger than they might be. The concept was based around personal experiences of the group, so we wanted to do first-person perspective experiments. The group members focused on light, shape, color, and size. We walked outside in the dark to test how the element influenced their feelings. We decided to incorporate a bit of each element in our final design. A long and wide cape with broad shoulders, a bright orange, and lights to look the most intimidating as possible. To validate and further iterate our design, we did a second-person perspective study. We aimed to gain a new perspective on aspects of our garment that we had not considered ourselves. First, we let the participants wear the garment in the correct context. After this, we asked if they could sketch their dream outer garments, with the only limitation being that it would be in the form of a cape. Lastly, an interview was held to discuss the ideas the participant had for the garment. We gained a lot of information and design ideas about how we could make it feel safer for different people, but we also saw that everybody's comfort zone is very different. What boosts confidence is not the same for all people. For the eyes on the cape, we wanted something that is reminiscent of the way certain animals use fake eyes to scare off predators. It needed to be semi-realistic, but graphic enough to be doable to produce, and a little scary. We sketched out a few different designs and picked the one we thought looked the best. To get the eyes onto the cape, we tried a few different methods. We tried the embroidery machine, but it didn't look quite right. We then tried sublimation printing, but we found it lacked texture and depth. In the end, we chose to work with flocked vinyl, which we thought adds a lot of interesting texture and just generally had a look that worked very well for our project. We used a silhouette vinyl cutter to cut the eyes out in different sizes and iron them onto the fabric. Per results from the first-person perspective input, lights were implemented on the runway garment. They were planned to turn on as the cape would reveal the surprising side. An Arduino was used alongside a reed module reading the magnet close to the hook of the cape and the LEDs as actuators. The LEDs were sewn to the back of the eye and the iris onto the fabric, which the vinyl was stuck to, making the stitch invisible from the right side. The fans tied to our fascination for Japanese culture, while also serving as a mechanism that is good at consuming space while being lightweight. It looks beautiful and intimidating. We explored making fans with 2 different types of paper and 1 type of plastic. The plastic used was unknown, and so technicalities about it were vague. We were unsure what temperature to heat it to and how durable it would be. Both types of paper would definitely be ruined by weather conditions. It would also tear easily. The plastic might have worked, but aside from the unsustainability aspect, attaching it to a garment would likely be messy and difficult. Furthermore, it would not withstand machine washes. Generally, we worked together well as a group, but we did have a lot of weaknesses. We all liked each other, but this made it hard to be tough when it was necessary. The communication was also lacking outside of meetings. We found it difficult to make decisions, which consequently meant that it was hard to make progress. We did not really set intermediate deadlines or meeting agendas, and because of this, the meetings felt aimless sometimes. We are really proud of the work we have done and of the things we learned together. In the end, the final outcome of this project was not the very best it could could have been. But we have acquired a lot of new knowledge to apply in our next project, and we have come one step closer to the designers we will become. Thank you for watching.